Good day, and welcome to Far Reaches Extra, or FRX as we call it. FRX is a chance for the gang to reach a little deeper with a one-on-one interview and discover people and topics that make this world worth living in. We hope you enjoy this random journey, and feel free to send in your suggestions or even call us out to be on the next episode of Far Reaches Extra. Hey, how your mom and them? Welcome once again to another glorious episode of not just Far Reaches Extra. That's right. This is the one-on-one time where we take a little bit of extra care to do a little bit of deeper dive, if you will. Most of the time, it's just one reacher and a special guest. This week, it's myself, Micah, and my very special guest, a longtime friend, Mr. Jon Davis. Jon is I'd say principal partner in a great company called Cyon Livestock. And I've known Jon for a long time, and we finally got a chance to get him on here. He's a huge fan, proponent, if you will, of Far Reaches. And so we finally got our schedules to match up, me being in Florida and him in the Northeast Oregon, Idaho region. But Jon, good day, my fine sir. How are you?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Oh, so cool. Couldn't be happier. This has been a long time coming, as they would say. And so, we met not that long ago, but it's been a couple, I wouldn't say maybe long ago, but it's been a while. I'll put it that way. Definitely early in my sales career is when we first cross paths, but we'll get to that soon enough. That's what they call a tease, I found out. Yeah. So got to keep them hanging on. Party moms going like, no, I want to hear about it now. Damn it, I want to hear about it now. So that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. With a special guest on the phone, Marty Mom, go ahead, you're live. Yeah, you'll notice if folks have heard us talk before, heard me talk. Nicknames are definitely part of the forte and part of my phone. And Jon and I, when we get to some of our other worldly stories, we had a lot of fun with some of our nicknames for each other, especially when our poor sales manager was in the car with us and didn't know who we were talking to. But for now, I really wanted to start and focus on what Jon's in now, because I really think it's important work for what he's getting a chance to do and help bring everything together. So I saw I even have a Cyon livestock cap on. Is that correct, Jonathan? Outstanding. So if you wouldn't mind, just kind of unpack it a bit and maybe give us the 30,000 foot and maybe even the 5,000 foot kind of view of what Cyon is, where you guys run around, who's involved, and then also we'll talk about probably how it kind of came to be as well, which will lead us to some other things. But I'd love to hear about what you guys are working on right now and kind of how you're rolling all that stuff out.
Well, the way we started Cyon was Dr. Fred Muller and myself joined together, both put in a little money, got the ball rolling. Mm-hmm. And the name Cyon was kind of one of them things where when you maybe drank too much wine.
It was an inspired moment, one might say.
Yeah, it was an inspired moment, yeah. So that's how we come up with the name Cyon. But the reason we started this company was to help out younger vets get started in the large animal world, because there's hardly any large animal veterinarians left.
Very true.
And so we decided if we started a company that we could sell a little vaccine, maybe branch into feeds and minerals and get a nutritionist on board and have a sales force, and also do a lot of data management. Mm-hmm. And that is possibly one of our biggest deals. Is we sell a program called Herd Tracks, and we help you with the program.
It's HERDTRAX, right?
Right, TRAX. Yep. Yeah. And we just don't throw the program on your laptop and walk away. What we do is we help you manage the information and learn how to use it, because so many of them programs are out there. I'm not going to name any of them, but there's many of them.
There's piles of them. And every day, more and more coming too.
Yeah, and most of the time you find them laying in the corner with the laptop, and nobody looks at it ever again because it's so difficult to manage that data. Mm-hmm. So we decided that we would hire somebody to help us manage that data. So we hired a salesman that was with BI Animal Health. And we hired her. Her name's Sarah Ryan. She's been a great asset so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so she does outside sales plus data management, and myself, I'm the sales manager plus I do outside sales. And then Fred kind of is the overall manager. He tries to keep us two running in the same direction, or not the same direction, but in different directions.
Yeah.
And he's got his hands full. But really what we just started the company for was to try to find young veterinarians that we could put in places where there is no veterinarians. We do veterinary work all the way from the Canadian border down to Oregon and clear into Idaho. And we get more requests every day because there's just no large animal vets.
Yeah.
And what we've been doing is partner with other veterinarians. We have one partner so far and working on another. We're partners with Brewster Veterinary Clinic in Brewster, Washington. And we partnered with them. We try to do the large animal work because Dr. Eisenhardt is, like you said, he's in his golden years, and but he doesn't want to give up. But he just doesn't think he's healthy enough to do the large animal work. So we partnered with him. So we sell the vaccine to his customers and help him with the herd work that he wants us to do. And that's kind of the whole idea behind Cyon, is to partner with other veterinarians to help them through the crisis that there is no large animal veterinarian.
Yeah. What an interesting concept too. I think that partnering concept, instead of, battling or undercutting or going around, or, so many other ways that some people have approached those things in the past. I think like, hey, here's what we do. We do it well. Let's help you do what you don't do well, and vice versa. And especially with, the past, what would you say, 10 or 15 years, there's been a steep decline in large animal vets, maybe even longer. But I think every year it becomes more and more prevalent every year.
Yeah. In the last 10 years, it's been just unreal.
Yeah.
They're just not turning out any large animal vets. And unfortunately, it's part of the college's problem. I think they're not taking the time to look at these kids that don't have a 4.0 grade average, but have a 3.5 and are doggone good kids that could come back and be great veterinarians.
Yeah, that's a tremendous point. I worked with some vet students early last year, I guess. They came out with a vet and they were second, third, fourth year, whatever. And I think there was 4 or 5 of them. And I think all but one, that was their first time they'd ever seen a squeeze chute when cows running through it.
That's the majority of them coming out of school right now. They've never hardly been around a cow. And the ones that are there that have, come from Montana or Utah or a place like that, they're going back there because they've already got a job. Somebody's already recruited them to do that. So, it's hard for us to find some out here in Washington. And, Oregon's putting out a few more than Washington is, but by the time you get around to them, they're already snapped up. So it's hard. It's just really hard to find a good large animal vet to help you out right now.
Yeah, and it's probably, unless things like this continue, it's going to be harder before it gets easier. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think the colleges are going to have to change the way they're selecting their students. They're not going to have to be so hard on grades, and maybe look for a kid that's got, because I know some great veterinarians that told me they weren't that good at students, but they have good common sense and they are really good veterinarians.
Good vet. Yeah, I think I can certainly relate to that. And it's not necessarily all about the grades. It's about the drive and the problem solving, I think, is a huge sort of thing. And just the ability to ask good questions and like observe. I think observation is probably, they don't even grade on that, I don't think, or that's not something you can really quantify to some degree. Asking questions and just watching and listening and knowing, that's some of the most intrinsic skills you can have in that profession, because you don't know it, but your patient can't talk to you directly. They talk to you indirectly, a limp, breathing, eyes, nose, droopy ears, etc. All of that. So being able to pull that stuff together and sort of do some mystery work almost is where it really kind of rubber hits the road in my mind.
Yeah. And usually them kids with, some farm background have them skills, but we're just not getting any of them kids. They can't afford to go to school for number one because it's so expensive.
Yeah, true.
There should be some better programs to help kids get into college, especially, farm kids, because we need them to come back and be veterinarians.
Yeah, that's where my mind was going, is more internship programs, maybe with local veterinarians, where you're finding those people now in high school, have that desire. That's a long process. So, I mean, like, man, you got your 4 years of undergrad, then you got to get into vet school, then you got to do it, then you got to come back. So, you want to find them when they're in high school. Probably makes more sense when they're juniors in college. or maybe sophomores, I suppose, because there's a lot of things that have to be in place, but feeding that farm system, if you will, to take a turn from baseball, to keep those channels full. And I'm sure that's what some people have resorted to, as you mentioned, about people already being quote unquote snagged up or signed up or sort of committed. Because it's getting more and more difficult. And then even let's think if they do find, like maybe they want to get out and they want to start their own clinic and go do their own thing. Well, son of a gun, talk about, you got bills from vet school, which most people are going to have some kind of loan or something. Then you got to try to get, I got to start a business, either going to find somebody's going to take me on or going to start from scratch. Now, either one of those is not easy either, especially these days. So that's another layer of what the heck's to the whole thing also.
Especially with what it costs to go to college today and then to buy a business and get started, it's almost impossible for them. They almost got to become a partner and then work their way in if they're going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for them kids to find somebody they really want to work with, because Fred's a great mentor. He's worked with a lot of kids coming out of school, and I mean we do the, what is it called, preceptor,
mm-hmm.
and so we have college students coming by every few weeks, and he takes them with him on calls and stuff. So I mean we're trying to do our part to help kids become more large animal vets, but there's very few of them out there.
I think there's got to be more demand from community. I think from maybe like, vet associations, et cetera. And I think some of those closer works with Oregon State, with WSU, with these other places too, of like, hey, we don't want to like cheapen the program, but I think we need to expand the broadness of what we're looking for when we're considering somebody for vet school. I think like, hey, they made it through undergrad. Congratulations. Like, that's like, you done that. Check it off. Did you get a 3.9 or a 2.5? Well, ultimately, like nobody's ever asked for my GPA after I got my degree. So, who cares really? What did you do? Were you involved in what, what extracurricular? What have you done with it since? What excited you the most? Where do you want to go after that? Because let's be honest, I'll be the first one to say, like, when I first got to university, as they call it some places, I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground, what I wanted to really go do. And I'd already been in the Navy for a few years. And so I wasn't like just right out of high school. But even then you're like, well, which direction am I going to head? What excites me? What interests me? You don't know. I mean, I found a lot of things that I accidentally double majored, for God's sake, because I liked so many different things. Like, I was like, that certainly wasn't on my list. Like, I'm going to go double major and then go to grad school. Like, grad school? Are you kidding me? I'm going to grad school? Like, do you know what that is? So yeah, I think a little bit of more of that, not necessarily where they're started at, but where are they at now? How did you do your last year of school? What are you working on now? What's your passion? What ignites you? So I think some of those things all play together. And, that probably won't change until we keep talking about it and getting involved with, with the Alumni Association, with the Vet Association, with programs like you guys got rolling on. And so that, that's another reason I wanted to hopefully we can keep shedding some light on these things and keep people interested in thinking about it also. And I really applaud what you and Dr. Fred are doing too, about just getting more people exposed to it. Like, here's a day in the life of a large animal vet, like, let's jump in. And yeah, it's not always glamour. There's no doubt about that.
Very seldom is it glamour.
Yeah, we have a nice Christmas party every year. That's the glamour of the whole.
I know that.
But it's good feelings too, and you get so much accomplishment. I
think one of the best parts of it is the people you get to work with. There is no better people than the people that farm this land and raise them cattle.
Yep.
And they're the salt of the earth, and that's a fun part of it for me. That's why I've been doing it for 40 years. Because I just love working with them people.
Yes, everybody's unique. Everybody's got their own point of view, their own idea of success and good and bad. And just when you see that click and you're like, you realize that we made a connection and we've done something, hopefully that makes it better for them. That, it was different after you left than when you showed up. That's really cool.
Yeah, and that is something that's different about our whole program. What we do, instead of going out and giving you a price on vaccines and price on vet work and everything, we bid it per cow, per pregnant cow.
Okay.
And it's one price per cow per year. So you're locked in at a certain price for all year. And that includes everything from herd tracks to, you know, brake testing, bull soundness exams, the whole work. It's just one price per year. And that's your contract for the year. And then we renegotiate every year, because vaccines go up and stuff. But what we're doing is we're trying to become a partner with the rancher. We want to be part of their, I don't really know if we want to be part of their management team, but we want to help them manage.
You want to be a resource for sure.
Yes, a resource for them, because we have herd tracks. We have, we have the availability of DNA testing. We have, we have a feed lab also. We test hay, and we also test water. Because water is becoming a big concern. You've got to keep
absolutely
that on the straight and narrow. So, there's many things we can do. We cover a big envelope of stuff, and that's what kind of makes us unique. We're not just out there selling you vaccines and that kind of stuff. We're out there trying to help you, to make better decisions. Not really take over your decisions, just to help.
No, that because there's a lot of stuff that goes into all that. You got rotations, you got different things come up, you got programs that work better for one weeding program versus another. And then all that's can be tracked with herd tracks. And if you got that pumping in there, and you can sit down and work through those things with people, like the parentage thing and looking at how that's bringing to the herd and all that cool stuff. I think that's tremendous. And not to mention, great for putting your budget together. I would think if you're running cows, like, here's all the crap I get, and here's what it's going to be, and I got that locked, and I know it, and I'm running with it.
It's really kind of nice, which this come from several ranchers we've been working with, is that they can go to their bank and say, this is what my animal health and all this is going to cost me. This is the price right now. Here, I know it is. And the bankers are really liking it.
Absolutely.
There's no surprises. They know that's locked in for the year. That's going to be their cost come the end of the year. And the bankers are really liking that part of it.
Yeah, that makes a tremendous amount of sense to me, because we've all known there's been spikes, given our previous experience. There's spikes that happen on stuff, like say, your wormer's gone through the roof, or there's a shortage on something else. That happens. Like can't get 8 weight. Guess what? It's just gone. Congratulations, Mr. Backorder. So, I'm sure you guys are putting those orders together way up front, and you got it all contracted. Definitely. And so you're going to try to avoid most of that shortcomings and those ups and downs as well. I think that's a tremendous business model. That's I expect nothing less out of you and Dr. Fred for pulling something together like that. It's pretty impressive.
One thing that we have one ranch that's been signed up on our program for, I think this will be his 3rd year, and he had a bull that was throwing humongous calves. I mean, they were doing cesareans on 4 and 5-year-old cows.
Holy buckets.
So we went through and DNA'd all these bulls, and we found him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he showed up real quickly, and guess what? He's not around this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that simple little bit of investment to figure out what's causing that, and that's when you're finding bad stuff. Also, the opposite, if you're seeing good things, like, man, where'd those Cracker Jack calves come from? Like, that's what I'm looking for. And like, well, we can find out, instead of like, well, you kind of looks like number 7. It's like, you don't know, you can't tell. So
you have no clue.
Yeah, so do a little bit more digging and bring that to the table and pump that into there, and that basic information tells you so much. And I think it's probably fun to watch people start taking a hold of that too, like digging into it when they get their hands on it, and watching those changes too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We didn't know how this model is going to work, but so far we've been in it. This will be our going on our 3rd year, and it's been a blast. People are really receiving it pretty well, and it's a total difference than what I'm used to. I was mainly a salesman before, and now I'm kind of a consulting salesman, so it's kind of a change for me, but it's been a real fun change, because I there's nothing more I love doing than sit down and talk to a rancher about the way things are going and how we can improve what he's doing. So
what's strong, what's weak, what do you want to go, where you're at now, where do you want to get, what do we have to work with, here's some options, seeing how it works, coming back, keeping the finger on the button. Yeah, that's gonna be really fun for sure.
Yeah, and down the line we want to do some other things. We want to get maybe into marketing, because there's so many of the small producers that have 40, 50, 30, 40, 50 head that just don't know where to market them at. And we're kind of wanting to try to see if we can figure out a way we can help them market them calves and get a better price for them. So that's something we're looking at.
Yeah. I think especially given with your herd management software, you can certainly see how things are going to group together. with those sort of background and the data and where it's headed and when they're going to be. And yeah, all that, I think it plays well with that. I think given the right permissions from everybody else that's working on it, that would be, there's a lot of potential, I guess I'd put it that way for sure.
Yeah, I do believe so too. I think we're headed in the right direction with it. I guess we'll find out more in a couple of years, but so far it's been going pretty good.
Yeah. Start with the basics, good foundation, and see where naturally progresses. I think is a good solid idea. Yeah. No, it's just tremendous. I think it's such a cool. I'm always about simple, really where I'm going with this. It's just like, there's a plenty other crap to worry about. And so, that's always been a large part of your guys' consulting point of view anyways. It's just like, let me break down a vaccine program for you, because every time something new comes out, it puts another wrinkle all the way down the line. So just to be able to have that plug and play, basically, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, I'm sure. And then keeping things in the right rotation and keeping track of, withdrawal dates, et cetera, and when, pregnant or not. And so, yeah, that's a huge resource, I would think, for a lot of people who can just go focus on every other thing that really makes them get up in the morning, as much as it might hurt your feelings. But that's probably not the first and last thing anybody thinks about is my vaccination program. So
no, that's the last thing he thinks about.
Yeah, we've seen that many a time. He doesn't
think about that until 5 minutes before.
Yeah, hey, we're Brandon tomorrow. I need 600 doses of. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's
No
8
doubt.
o'clock at night, man. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yep.
So how does that feed into everything for that exact thing? Like, if does that go in their herd track somewhere when they usually brand, so you guys can have all that stuff lined up, or how does all that logistics work of that?
We kind of schedule it all out for the year. So if he's going to brand in May, he's pretty much scheduled that all the way through his program, brand, and then wean in September or October. That's already locked in. The vaccines are already locked in, so we know exactly what we're going to use. Unless we have some other kind of wreck that comes along, but we pretty much have everything all planned out. But in this day world, you never know what's going to happen. So
True.
And so we pretty much have that all planned out, and we even try to pre-organize the preg test, bull evaluations, everything, so that it's kind of really nice, because then we can line up doctors, because we try to get young doctors in so we can show them what's going on, and we try to keep other doctors that are around the country that aren't busy. We try to help them find work, and so it gives us a chance to. And we have a couple of contract doctors we work with that work at the veterinary clinic during the summer, and then the fall they like to play, so they come and preg test for us. I guess they call that playing, but
everybody's got their different ideas.
Yeah. So we have a couple of veterinarians that do that with us, and it works out pretty slick for us, because we can hire them for a few months to go help us break. Because when you're preg testing cows all over Washington, part of Oregon, and Idaho, it kind of keeps you moving.
Most definitely, yeah. Because I'm sure no matter how much you try to get stuff locked in, there's going to be some shifting, some changing, some early, some late, no doubt, just because there's both people and cows involved. Two of the most chaotic things to ever see this earth. So
Yep, very true. Yep. We try to schedule it fairly regular, but stuff happens. You're out there gathering, and skate breaks, and
yeah, exactly.
There ain't a whole lot you can do.
Well, that's going to be tomorrow. Yeah. And so are you able, you can sit down with people and kind of show them the year almost in a snapshot?
Oh, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Do you see people kind of get their eyes a little bit wide, kind of like just take one step back and just like realize or look at it and maybe in a different manner, how it all comes together, instead of like a flip calendar or this and that, but it's like, here's the timeline, man. Here's how everything has to play together, and how it's going to impact the years to come, and et cetera. I think for me anyways, it would make people see it a little bit different light, maybe.
I think the biggest light has been on pregnancies. How many were bred in the first cycle?
Yes.
And how many weren't bred in the first cycle, because they think all of them were bred in the first cycle, but they're not. I think that's been an eye opener for a lot of guys. That's going, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was that bad, or and how can I improve?
And what that costs. Yeah, that's
so that's been a fun part, is showing them, and I mean we've got some guys doing some fantastic things. We got guys that are turn in bulls for 27 days and taking them out. What isn't bred goes to town.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, so
Wow.
I mean, and it's fun to work with them guys that are progressive and, you know, are working at making a better herd. But you know what? I think that's been the biggest eye opener is our preg test.
Mhm.
Everybody thought that 70% of their cows are bred in the first cycle, and we can show them that that didn't happen. And you know, then they want to know how to improve that, because them firstborn calves are the ones that make you money.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're 28 days, you're 50 pounds later easily the next one that comes
Yeah.
around. And then they're behind and the mom's behind and everything.
And really the
Yeah.
difference between the first bred and the third cycles.
Oh,
You know, them some ones that really eat your lunch.
yeah. Yeah. Because if
So,
you're not averaging one calf per 365, you're behind already. You know,
yeah. So
that's what you're trying to get done.
The part is because we graph that all out. And
Mhm.
we have how many cows are bred in the first 21 days, like 42, and then the last up to 60 days. And when they look at it, the first time they see that chart, they go, "Oh, we thought we were doing a lot better than that." And I mean, it's really good information for them.
Well, that's the thing too, having that all in a place that you can utilize, that you can make these different choices with, like, because like nobody's intentionally BSing themselves to thinking like, oh yeah, I'm 80% first cycle. Like they're just like, yeah, that's probably what's going on.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's just, you don't take time to sit down and figure out exactly when the bulls were turned out when the cow started cowing. So, you're going to be off. But when we graphed it out, it's right there in black and white. And then, and one thing I really like about herd tracks is as you put a cow in and she has replacements, she goes up in status. And there's gold status, bronze status, platinum status. And as a cow puts more replacements in that herd, she gets higher rating. So that cow is a premium heifer raiser. And that helps you pick out your heifers when you go to replace.
absolutely. Yeah. See who's all in the band, so to speak, and what they're bringing to the table.
And the nice thing about that is we can just click on that, the premium cows, their heifer, how many have heifer calves, and it'll give a list of us and we can pull them calves right away. So it makes it, we can choose replacement heifers earlier doing that.
Mm-hmm. Which money ahead for sure. Good.
Oh, definitely.
And there's going to be coming points too where the heifers that some people are culling off because they're not quite matching what their herd's doing are going to be like kicking up a notch for somebody else, so definitely. I think you guys probably nailed it too, that some of that marketing stuff were like, man, Tammy, she's got 15 heifers she's getting rid of because they're not the creme de la creme like she's running. But man, these are gonna be golden for what you got going on, where you're running cows at everything else. Like these are perfect for you. And so to be able to maybe facilitate that back and forth, the data goes right with. How cool is that? That's next level on my mind. In that little herd tracks community, if you will, that would be. That would be.
And if we can get more of the feedlots to cooperate on the guys that are keeping them, so we can get that data back, because it stores all that data too, and we can see where we're on cut and grade and yield and tenderness and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're making choices for some of those things when you're breeding, and you kind of want to be able to quantify that towards the end as well, and see if you're making the right choices or it just kind of flatlining, or sometimes there's too much of a good thing, saying, oh, I gotta balance that out a bit more. So I think, I see a lot of opportunity in that as well. And it's easier said than done getting all that stuff back from the feedlot.
But but I mean, that's kind of why we decided we needed somebody to help with the data, because that's where and I'm not bad mouthing ranchers, because they all have plenty to do, but that's where they all fall down, is getting that information put in and using it to help them, because they got too dang many things going on, and that's just not one of their most important things to do.
It's despite the progress that's been made, it's not always intuitive either, and it's an extra layer of stuff to do usually. So the TSU or an EID tag or et cetera. So that's again, if you don't have to worry about it, why should you? Really, that's the whole thing about good management, is delegating it to somebody else. So seriously, that's not lazy. That's like, you're better at that than I am, or I shouldn't be thinking about that at night. That's not how I'm going to make my money. So you guys are really good at it, so you handle it.
And we've got an excellent team. We got Sarah, and then we also have Crystal in the office. And Crystal she's a spreadsheet wizard, so.
She excels. Oh,
Yeah, she excels.
oh.
Yeah, she does.
Damn it.
She does
I
it.
tried
She
to hold
does
that. I really did. I
it.
just,
You
I
couldn't
just-
do her, could you?
I couldn't. No, that ship sailed. It was already out before I even realized it.
Yeah, she does it. She does. Both of them do an awesome job. They're really good at it, and they're fun to work with. They are both got good attitudes, and they're a blast to work with. So
That sure helps. Yeah, that sure helps because, no matter how much you love your job, not every day is the funnest. So having somebody
No.
that can kind of bounce off a little bit and keep you cheered, that certainly helps. But
I think from time to time, Fred gets a little bit upset with me because I'm kind of like a bull in a china shop. When I got something to do, I like to get it done, and I got to run over things. So I think some days he'd like to kick me in the nowhere, but we get along.
I'd rather do that than put a mirror under your nose to make sure you're still alive,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
most of the time. Yeah. So that I think you guys balance well too,
Yeah.
in my mind. But what's your website, John? What, off the top of your head?
Our website is not working right now.
Oh, okay.
We had a little debuckle with it, but hopefully we'll have it up here in a couple of weeks, hopefully in a month or so. We had a little debuckle, so we'll hopefully get it back up and going.
It definitely happens. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get it back up.
You have Facebook to call you? I mean, I'm asking, like, if somebody wants to track you down and be like, hey,
Yeah, we have Facebook.
I need your help,
Well,
man.
I don't know if it went down with our website or not.
It might have.
It might have. I know we were on Twitter and Facebook and had a website, but it kind of went. Back up and going.
You're like, well, we're gonna put all herd tracks are still running, but the freaking Facebook's down. So yeah.
Everything else is working, but not
Oh, that's too funny. Well, what's your email then, Jonathan? Is that still working?
Yep, it's still working, and it's John at cyonls.com.
It's CYON, correct?
Yep, CYONLS.com.
Beautiful. JON at CYONLS.com. I'll make sure I get that down in the comments down below as well, so
Okay,
people can
perfect.
just click and track, if you will, so we can herd them in some direction. I'll check if the Facebooks are working too after
I don't
this,
think
and
it
we'll
is. I
see.
think it's hooked to our website, so I think it's
Most
pretty much
likely,
crashed too.
but yeah, I just
But
want to make
hopefully
sure
we'll have that up in a couple of weeks.
if people want to track you down legally, then they can. Yeah. So, not that they don't know who you are anyways. I mean, sort of legendary Northwest figure. So
Legendary, all right.
a legend in his own mind, folks. Jonathan Davis.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier your 40 plus years of experience. Let's deep dive back there, ways to wherever far back you want to go, and get some more sense about where you came from and how you ended up here. Maybe I think some folks might want to know a little bit more about that too, if you don't mind. And I'll feed you the line so you can say what you will. Yes.
Well, I was born and raised on a ranch in eastern Montana, little town called Lindsay,
Montana.
and we raised cows and farmed. And then when I was a senior in high school, I bought my own ranch.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? That's what.
Yeah, walk out the door, write a check, do a tour. And then the 80s hit.
Oh crap!
21% interest, 23% interest, the grasshoppers, the drought. And I battled on that ranch for 18 years. It was fun. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of disappointments. And finally, we decided we should do something different. So while I was still working on the ranch, I went to work for the local co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And at the co-op, I was a feed and vaccine salesman. And I started that in 1982. So in April of 1982 till April of 2022, I'll have 40 years in this business. But and I worked for the co-op for 18 years. And I sold the place. And I was going to just keep on working for the co-op. And one morning I come to work and they said, John, we're going to change your position. You no longer have a position at the company.
We're going to change your position. It's going to be somewhere else.
And so I thought, oh, geez, what am I going to do? So I bought most of my stuff from Lextron Animal Health out of Billings.
Mm-hmm.
So I called the Lextron manager up in Billings, Marlon McCaffrey. And I said, you wouldn't be looking for a salesman. He said, would you move to Spokane? I said, hell yeah. I met him in Drummond, and we went to Spokane, and he said, I'll ride with you for a couple of days. He rode with me for about 3 hours, said, you got this under control. Goodbye.
He's like, I got 2 free days and John's on the road. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, Marlon. Oh, that's awesome.
So I worked for Lextron for a long time until they closed the warehouse in Spokane.
Mhm.
And then I went to work for a company called Reachin Home in Kennewick and Pasco for a
Oh,
year.
yeah. Yeah.
And then that was my job there too, selling animal health and feed. And then while I was there, I got back on with Lextron out of the Jerome warehouse. And I worked there. And when I went to work for him, I told Marlon and Chubb Klein, if you remember Chubb,
Yeah.
I told him, I'll work for you as long as you don't close this warehouse. And about 7 months after I went to work for him, they closed that warehouse.
That seems to be the mark of death as soon as you see anything about the warehouse. Yeah.
So then I got a job with MWI, worked for them for 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Had a blast at MWI, a great company, great people. And then after I left them, I went to work for veterinarian, Dr. Rustabaki Veterinary Service in Clarkston, Washington. I worked for him for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
Learned a lot. I mean, he's an awesome man.
He is. He's really cool. Yeah.
He is a great
clinic. Great, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
You guys did some good stuff there.
Yeah, we had an awesome time together there. And then Fred and I kind of got the yakking and goofing around together, and we decided to start Cyon, and that's where I am today.
That's outstanding. And what a trip it
40
was.
years.
Wow. Dang impressive. Yeah, it's I know I met you when I worked at Lextron. We worked there at the same time, and that's some of the best times I've ever had doing sales, with the gang that was there, all of us in the same pile. That was, I look upon those very fond.
We had an awesome team.
We did. Yeah, I think we did.
We had a fun team. Maybe a little too much fun.
Maybe a little too much fun. Maybe it's a little too rambunctious at times as well, when we just decided to have our own sales meetings. But still, yeah. I mean, I think
we did have a lot of fun.
It's where I learned the term team building. I didn't learn it there per se, but we certainly perfected the phrase of team building, and that's the first time I ever put it on or saw it on a expense report. That's for damn sure. Was just team building. So. Yeah, we had some good times. Our customers were super happy. Our sales manager, I'm sure we just aged him horribly. Well, there's no doubt about that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Folks, we're laughing uncontrollably because we're both thinking about several events. We're not going to say them out loud because we don't have to, because we're just laughing about them anyways. And I'm sure party moms out there, or Cracker, or anybody else that worked with us probably laughing too, because they're thinking something probably completely different even. But yeah, I know. I got to tell one story though, because one of us was Candy Pants, another one was Sugar Britches, I think. Is that what it was? Or
well, you're pretty man, and I
pretty man. Yeah. So I was riding with our sales manager one day, and you called, and of course he didn't see who was ringing on my phone, and it wasn't Bluetooth in the car either. So I pick it up. I'm like, "What's up there, Sugar Lips? What's going on?" Yeah, see you soon. Can't wait. Sounds good, darling. And he's just kind of looking at me, and I hang up the phone, and he's like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's so and so at Wilco," like the head buyer at Wilco. And all the color just strains out of his face, like instantly. He's like, "Oh my God, you can't talk to her that way. Oh my God." And I'm like, "You got to relax, dude, for one. Like, are we getting business done or what?" And he's like, "No, oh my God." And I'm like, "It was John. I was talking to John." Oh my God. Like, he was for sure, it was just absolutely hilarious. Yeah. Poor sales manager, man. He was just about a half a tick wound too tight, I think, for all of our herd, because
yeah, I think so. I think we might have broke one of them ticks.
I'm sure it's like the guitar string, just yeah. But no, on a serious note though, I learned so much about sales and what it means to be doing right for the customer and having a good team when I got to work with you and everybody else there. I wouldn't have changed the thing about my progression. because I look back on it all the time. I'm like, man, that was good formative years, and you taught me a lot about all the right things, I think. So yeah, I've always been grateful for that. So
Yeah, we had an awesome team. We learned a lot from each other. It was great.
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I know if a nickname sticks around that long, it's a pretty good one. So
Yeah, no doubt.
I think I'll never forget one of the national sales meetings when they would film us during the day at some of our activities, and then they'd play them in the evening or the next morning. And the one where me and Nate, poor old Cracker, we were doing something, and I just reached over and like patted him on the top of the head. I didn't even know the camera was there, but they called us Mutt and Jeff because here's me, and then here's Nate. I just reached over and just tapped him on the head like, there, little buddy, and didn't even know they got it on film, and the whole place erupted. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, I didn't even know they were there, man. But yeah, it was.
No, we had some really crazy moments.
Oh man. Well, yeah, we were trying to figure out what his nickname was going to be, and Party Mom and I were at one of her customers' places, and they had a little like miniature Chihuahua or something. Like it was just a little tiny dog, and that dog's name was Cracker. And I looked at Party Mom, and I'm like, that's Nate's name. He's Cracker, and it just. And I think he's still on my phone as Cracker. Yeah, I don't know.
He's still on my phone as Cracker.
Yeah, it was named after that little tiny dog. And I don't remember the name of the place we were at, but it was that, when you got hired, you spend a few days with different people, and I spent a couple days with Party Mom. And so, yeah, we visited those customers, and that was their dog. And so it just stuck like glue. But yeah, great times for sure. I know we can have a whole reunion episode just on that. But
oh yeah. We might have to change names to.
I was just gonna say, yeah, they'll be all blurred out and be like, yeah, my name's Skip Town, and this is my friend Will Snuggle over here. And yeah, let me tell you a couple stories. I think statute of limitations is probably up by now. So
hope so.
Yeah, no kidding. But no, I want to touch a little base on that too, just to tell you how grateful I was for getting a chance to work with you those years ago, and been able to stay in touch too. And we don't get to talk near as often as we want to, or see each other even. But just to see all the cool stuff you've been through and where you're headed now, I think it's super exciting what Cyon's got going on. And I think it's probably going to pave the way for some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be a fun journey.
Yeah, it started off pretty good. I think it's only going to get better. I think especially you're going to keep finding ways to harness that data. I think, to empower people more with what they're doing. More decisions are going to be able to be pumped into that, I'm sure, as time progresses and we get more things figured out, or people want to know more, people learn, like you said, what, half my herd's getting bored, getting bred second cycle or whatever. Yeah, and here's how we can tweak that. And of course, there's no one size fits all, but those things are going to parallel well too with like, hey, we had a guy close to here. We took him from, 60% first cycle to 82. And here's some of the things that we did. And I see a lot of similarities here. So, you're not going to have exactly A for A, but all that stuff plays together. I think there's value in having that broad picture too, that you guys will be able to see.
Oh, definitely. The more, the more information you can gather, the better you're going to be able to help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the exciting part, because we have several people that are jumping on board, and we'll be able to, we won't reveal their names, but we'll help, tell people that, we got somebody else that's doing this and this is working for them. Maybe we should try it, and that, I think that's the neat part, is we can come up with a lot of things we can do to help them get a better conception rate, help them wing bigger calves. Is the all natural program the best thing for you, or should you be implanting?
Yeah, that's a great. Just because everybody's doing it, don't mean it's for you. Maybe it just could be the exact opposite. I think, I've known quite a bit about herd tracks, but I forgot some. And one question I had in particular was: is there a feature where you can, I guess, for lack of a better term, judge your cattle against other cattle within herd tracks? Is that turned on yet?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah, you can judge them against all the cattle that are on herd tracks.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, that has to be.
And there's a lot of cattle on herd tracks, so I mean,
there's some power in that. It just, if nothing else, it just kind of gives you a sense where things are stratifying and how because it's neat to think, because everybody, like, everybody has different goals. They got things they want to get accomplished, but you still kind of want to see how your exact recipe sort of pairs up with where everything else is going on in the book, so to speak, and see how that's going to differentiate or get you a little bit better of an advantage, perhaps. So yeah, that's
I mean, the more you know about the cattle, the better you have a chance of marketing. I mean,
and yeah, there's
they're granted 75% choice. You've got a big bargaining tool,
mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's just awesome information to have when you go to that sales table and say, hey, I've got 500 head of steers here that are going to pretty much great choice. And
Mm-hmm.
I need a premium.
Yeah. Guess what?
You know?
You nail it. That guy's gonna be back too. He's gonna be knocking
Yeah.
on your door, because yeah, if you can't measure, you can't manage, and then there's
Oh,
so many variables as it is. Like anything that you can minimize on that, hopefully the better off you're going to be, because everybody else is working in that same environment. So if you got fixed variables and they got variable, then you're going to be ahead.
Yeah. Yep. That's the neat thing about it, is that information is so valuable, that
If it's used right. Yeah. If it's used
right.
Yeah.
If you just put it in the computer and never look at it, it's not going to do you any good. But
Nope.
Hopefully we're going to help you harness that information and make it available for you so you can use it as a bargaining chip when you go to sell your cows,
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just taking whatever they think they're going to give you. You're going to say, hey,
Yeah.
my calves for the last 5 years have graded choice. I need a premium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps them for sure. One other quick question, John, then I'll let you get on with the rest of your evening. So you talked about getting all this data in and letting people use it. So do y'all actually come out to the ranch, and are you tagging? Are you putting this stuff in their system, or does somebody, a data manager? How do you making sure that you're getting them started off right, and like you don't just throw it over the fence and like, here you go, here's all your TSUs and good luck?
Nope, we go out to the ranch, and usually Sarah and I both go if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
She'll put in data. I'll tag cattle. I'll vaccinate, whatever I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we go out there and get right in the barnyard with them, and I think that's a neat part of our company, is we're not afraid to go out there and get dirty.
Sure. Yeah.
And we try to help them put the information in so that they remember how to do it.
Sure.
But I mean, if there's not enough people, we just put the information in and go.
I think that's a great point, and something I dealt with in my previous DNA world is like, well, we need somebody else then that's going to run this component of our system, and we don't have somebody. That was often one of the hinge points of doing those new things or extra things. Like, we've got 4 people we can count on. We might have 7 neighbors say they're going to show up. We know that's fine, but we got 4 people we know, and they all have a job already. So how are we going to do this? So I think you guys bring extra to the table with that also, not only just being there for that, but also empowering them to maybe help figure out or working through all that as well. So they get that extra, that's certainly extra value that would go on top of whatever your per head per year kind of things you'll be running too. So I think that says a lot about you guys and what you want to tell. You talked about partnering. It truly is part of that.
When we started the company, that was one of my main goals. I don't know if it was everybody's goal, but to make sure that this didn't go in the corner and become a wasted item, that we sold them. Mm-hmm. I said, if we're going to do this, we got to go out there and make sure it gets done and help them get it done and learn how to do it. I said, most of the time these programs are so complicated. I mean, it just drives you nuts. Why can't they make them simpler? I don't know. I told Fred yesterday we should just write our own damn program. He says, you know how much that time that'll take?
Yeah, exactly. Way easier said than done, for sure. Yeah. They'll have their own language. Like when you sit down and start putting things in, like, oh, it's got to be this first before it can be that. And it's, and so you got to go through all those hoops. And so I think for you guys, just doing it every time, helps.
That's where most ranchers get discouraged, is they have to figure out all these hoops they got to jump through to get it done when they're trying to get their cattle worked. So that's why we decided we have to be a part of that and help them get that done until they learn how all the hoops to jump through. And, a couple of ranches that we've had on the program for a couple of years now are getting really good at it, but we still go out and help them and make sure everything goes right. And, in the next few years, they'll possibly just take it over themselves, but we want to be there, until that time comes that they feel comfortable they can do it themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a huge differentiator for sure. And
And to make sure that they also can know how to use the knowledge that they're gaining.
Yeah, that precisely. Yeah, it's not just cool number. Yeah. So, hey, yeah, we got it in here, and oh, there's a graph, and there's this. Like, now what? Like, what does this really mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is how choices are made. This is how we can do things a little bit different, maybe a little sooner, maybe a little better. Make a decision. Anytime you can make a decision sooner in the whole process, that's money spent where it needs to be spent in a different manner or whatever. It's all about getting those buckets of whatever you got going on lined up as soon as you can, I think.
Yeah. And it's really nice that Dr. Fred has his own cows on the program. He has a set of cows, and he's on herd tracks, and he takes his all the way to slaughter. So he has some really awesome information, and that's a really good selling tool for us, because we can go show him what information he's gaining. And Fred understands the program pretty well, possibly not as well as Crystal, but he understands the program fairly well.
Yeah.
But,
it's damn impressive. It's exciting to see where you guys are going. Can't wait to keep watching and see where it heads next, and what comes into play. And just as more people get involved with it, start figuring it out, start thinking like, that's just crazy enough to work, I think, because it's almost that third party too. I think oftentimes if you got a ranching team, like, just because one of them thinks of it, maybe the other one's like not always that excited about it. But if it comes from like the middle or a source, like, here's all the things we can do, and you kind of like that almost independent third party, if you will, to a degree, probably would help sort of that transition as well.
Yeah, I think that helps a lot. That we're another set of eyes looking at the same information, helping them. We're not there to make their decision, but we're there going to help them make
you got it all
best choice they can,
piled out, and you can just roll it out and be like, here you go. We're taking some of the gray area probably out of that decision making, or at least they can. I keep thinking about a classic, husband, wife, ranching team, or whatever you want to structure it as. And so there's going to be points of view. Like, if you can just black and white lay it in the middle and be like, guess what? You both are right, or you're both wrong, or here's what I'm seeing. I'm not going to say anything else, but here's what the data is looking like. I think that probably could be an advantage.
Makes me think of a couple that we were working with.
There's several friends of mine that are going through my brain as well that might benefit from some of that. So that's just the nature of the beast. It could be two partners, it could be two brothers, it could be whatever. You've got two different people in the same place, got two different ideas about how things are running.
Yep.
That's just a fact. That's going to happen.
Yep.
So
that's going to happen.
Yeah. So it's something to check out. But well, website's not up yet, or it's down for the moment, but we'll have an update when it is. We might see the Facebook if that's running. We do have your email.
Yep.
Which is, I'm going to look back through my Jon at Cyon LS, that's for livestock.com, which will be down in the comments below. Anybody's super desperate, get a hold of me. I'll send them your cell phone if you want. We'll try to find ways to get a hold of you.
No problem. They can call my cell phone.
Yeah. Should we get that out? You want to get that out? Okay. All right. What's your cell phone, Johnny?
208-964-0395.
0395. Cool. Yeah. So I'll get all that information down the bottom as well. So if people watch this, they can track you down. And no, I can't thank you enough for coming on and saying howdy and talking a bit about what y'all got going on. I know I appreciate what you guys do for the customers, for the industry, for both, just the beef industry as well as ranching, the veterinarians. I think those are all things that are needing more spotlight on all of them. And I think better choices for everybody involved is only going to be advantageous for the individual and the industry. And I think those are two things we need to keep an eye on. So I couldn't be happier to have a chance to get you on and chat for a while, and then have just some quiet laughs too, because we know what we're laughing about, probably. Yeah. So, but anything else you want to throw out there before we wrap this session up? And
I just want to thank you for having me on. It's great, and I really love what you guys do with this podcast. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you very much.
I don't think I've missed an episode. Some of them I've watched 3 or 4 times.
Well, I apologize to you for that right now. Yeah. So no, I always love getting your feedback.
And you guys are doing an awesome job. Keep it up.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. It's just fun for us, but we like that feedback to know that people are resonating or laughing or enjoy just putting it on when they're driving to work. So that means
Well,
a
I know
lot.
there's several people on the highway that think I'm crazy because I'll be driving down the road laughing like crazy. And the people will drive by and look at me like, what the heck is wrong with that
Yeah,
guy?
just wave and give that guy a wide berth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I usually
Well,
just holler, I'm watching to the far reaches.
he's just
So.
watching the reaches, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
that guy sounds even crazier now. I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
oh, that's awesome. Well, John Boy,
Yeah,
we're
just
gonna wrap
about
this. Go ahead.
just about all my friends and colleagues that I work with are fans of you guys too. Our secretary, I got her hooked on you guys. She said she has more fun watching you. So
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah. We're I finally got the live figured out on how to run it through all our programs.
yeah, I was on that last one you did live. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I saw you and Party Mom were chatting back and forth. That was
Yeah.
awesome. And I figured out my mute button again, so all was well there. Poor Richard, he thought he was all screwed up. He's starting stuff up, restarting again. I'm like, I still can. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Then I looked down and my microphone's flashing. I'm like, oh.
Hey, we all make mistakes.
I know, it just cracked me up.
In the heat of the moment.
In the heat of the moment, yeah. The hand-to-hand battle that we are in. Yeah, I just like, you big dummy. So it adds to our flair. And so
No,
yeah,
I think you guys are awesome. You're doing a great job. I love listening to you, and it makes my day most of the time.
Well, I really, really appreciate that. And we're going to keep going as long as we're enjoying it and people are listening somewhat, then we're going to keep on raging on because it's a kick in the butt for us too. And I think that's the key part is everybody has a little bit of fun. And yeah, we like the comments and the suggestions that come in as well. So that makes us definitely kind of makes you laugh a little bit and smile too. Like, oh, there's still what I consider normal people running around out there. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's reassuring and heartwarming for me. So not everybody's on the TV, but awesome. Well, we're going to wrap this one up and get this one in the books, and we'll probably have you back again too, because I want to see when things progress. And hell, even when you get the website up, we'll probably have a little blurb about that, if nothing else.
We'll have to come back
yeah, like, hey, website's running. Yes.
Yeah, it works. All right.
Let's see if we can crash it. Yeah, that'll be awesome. So, but we'll wrap this one up. If you guys want to get a hold of John, we should have information down below and the links. If that doesn't work, or I forget, or God knows what, get a hold of me. We can track it down. He's easy to find as well. Just open your door and yell John Boy. He'll probably come running. But until then, we'll be back soon. And until then, just keep on reaching all. And thank you much.